Welcome back to Screen Fiend as we talk about The Batman. The movie that never happened with Ben Affleck. The Batman, it's going to happen now with a whole different actor playing Batman, but how much of the Ben Affleck script is still in place? That's what we really want to know here. See, here's the true nature of the situation. Ben Affleck and Warner Brothers were in the negotiation to continuously have Ben Affleck aboard. But it was banking on the success of Justice League. Once the Justice League crashed, all these plans went into play to cancel everything. They assumed that this was going to be so massive, this three movie plan that they had set up, that they start filming the movies all at one time. Because to get these actors to commit to being in shape and being in these places all at one time was tough. Amy Adams, who had to play the reporter Lois Lane, she did not like to have to be in Detroit all these days and all these shoots. It was very cold, and this was just not her. This kind of rush job and kind of being in hibernation, can't really walk around. It just was not the ideal place that she was used to. But this is a big book film movie, so they're thinking big numbers. So Batman versus Superman comes out, and it just doesn't quite do the numbers they thought it was gonna do. Suicide Squad, which they filmed consecutively, didn't quite do what they thought it was gonna do. And then comes Justice League. So while they're filming for Justice League, they're thinking, well, Justice League is going to correct everything that went wrong in these other films. And boy, it didn't. Oh boy, it didn't. Now, Warner Brothers have had their reservations after watching the debacle that happened with Harley Quinn and how the movie really didn't take off the way they thought it would. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you tame down Harley Quinn, which is a mistake. You make this more of a man hate movie than just a Harley Quinn movie and worry about storyline and development. Even though the movie had its parts where it was very entertaining, it was clear their agenda was in place. Now, let's get into the Batman. Now, as you can see, Deathstroke was going to be the villain. And for the first time ever, he was going to be instrumental in this whole one off Batman movie, which was not going to have any other members from the Justice League. In the original script that Ben Affleck had wrote in the treatment, he's investigating crimes in Gotham. He left the Justice League to investigate what was going on in Gotham. There was these crimes that mythified the police, and they wanted to see who was doing these crimes. Now, Superman could have probably easily found that it was Deathstroke and, neutralized the situation, but they were nowhere around as Lex Luthor had them preoccupied with fighting something that was coming from space. So they went to investigate it to see what was this asteroid coming through space. This asteroid was supposed to be no other person but Darkseid. So Wonder Woman and Superman went to investigate it to see what's this strange meteor-like thing that was coming headed in the direction of Earth. So it would explain their absence. Meanwhile, this movie is a slow drawing out movie, which shows Batman investigating crimes at night, beating down guys in the street. There's a subway scene which is very much similar to how Joker was, where Batman's on the train, he stops a robbery, and the person he's trying to interrogate is on the train, and it was a very cool looking scene, and you can see the electricity from the track bringing the light in and going out, and you see the bat on the train. It was a good image to see on the storyboard, how it would be flickering in and out. Now, in this scene, Batman beats the guy. He tells him some information that kind of leads him in a direction of where these crimes are. And he uses his detective skills, something we haven't seen from him in a very long time. He did some of it in The Dark Knight and used his detective work. And that's what Batman was known for. And his utility belt, using things out of the belt. That's what the key to Batman was. He always had something in that belt that he wears around his waist to get him out of situations and gadgets. And I think they kind of gotten away from that, and kind of just put that as a side piece. And Batman's mind, he has the mind of a detective. Remember, he was in the detective comics. Batman is a true, real crime fighter. So the Batman was going to bring that element back to Batman. As Kevin Smith, who's a big comic book buff, in case you don't know, Kevin Smith is, got the Comic Book Man and had Stan Lee and Mallrats with Ben Affleck. And they're in the comic book stores, and doing all these different things, right? But it's always been about comics. All his movies has been centered around comic books because that's what he grew up reading. So naturally, he's got his input in there as Ben Affleck got to play Daredevil. Now he's playing Batman. So they're sitting back, and I mean, they're watching this, right? And they love the script. Warner Brother thinks this is exciting, but you're having some pushback with some of the people talking about merchandising product. Now the business comes into play. Is Affleck even bankable right now? Is acting it? Should we get Affleck to act this thing out? I don't think his energy is, in place for this. Let's get someone else because we don't know if he's going to be in shape for it. Now, one way to handle this problem is quite simple. What you would want to do is handle the Batman in a format in a way that you want to see it move. But the studio's thinking about merchandising. The studio's concerned about Affleck playing Batman. They saw that him getting back in shape to play Batman when this guy plays in other roles is very taxing on him. Like when they had him in physical condition to play Batman, he went through a whole regimen. He played in like 3 movies back to back to back. He made a cameo in the Suicide Squad movie while they were filming Batman. And then they went into the Justice League. So when they did these 3 movies back to back to back, that basically took care of Affleck's contract. Now we all know what happened with Justice League, no need to go there. But they are very intrigued with this script. Now, when you go down the script, you come to find out, because they don't even advertise the villain. This is all about Batman. And as you watch the film, the fans will be able to understand that it's Deathstroke that he's investigating, that he's trying to find out who it is at the end. Where you might be thinking it's someone else, and it turns out to be Deathstroke. So, leads to a very epic clash between Deathstroke and Batman. As for some reason, Batman cannot finish this guy. And it put his moral compass to the test. And there was a Robin reference in this film. So, there's a lot of different things that transpired in this original script. So, yeah, it was a bad cycle. Um, it wasn't a bad helicopter, but it was a bad cycle. And there was, of course, the Batmobile. So, anyway, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. I got people just sending me a text right now, so I'm like, what in the world? Who would want to text this early in the morning? So, anyway, I'm out. Be blessed. Deuces.